I once believed I had it all: a loving husband, Nathan, and two beautiful children, Lily and Lucas. We lived in a cozy home where happiness seemed to flourish. But I made choices that shattered that world. And now, I want to share my story, my regrets, and the emotions that haunt me. Nathan was the man of my dreams. We met in college, and his kindness, strength, and unwavering support won my heart. We built a life together filled with laughter and love, especially when our twins, Lily and Lucas, were born. Our home was lively, a place where joy echoed in every corner. Nathan worked as an architect, a profession he was passionate about. I, on the other hand, thrived in public relations, a job that required late nights and travel, but Nathan never complained. He was proud of me, and I was grateful for his understanding. But as time went on, something inside me changed. My job, once just a career, started to become an escape. I met Daniel, my boss, a man who was charming, powerful, and different from Nathan in ways that excited me. It started innocently, just work dinners and late night talks. But those moments soon turned into something more. I didn't set out to hurt Nathan, but my desires took control, leading me down a path I now deeply regret. I remember the first time I crossed that line with Daniel. We met. We were at a dimly lit bar, the kind of place where the clinking of glasses and murmurs of conversation create a haze of possibility. We were celebrating another deal successfully closed, the kind that leaves you giddy with a sense of triumph. I took a shot of tequila, feeling its warmth spread through me, and my eyes locked onto his. In that moment, I could see the longing in his gaze, mirroring my own. But there was hesitation, a flicker of doubt in his eyes, maybe because he knew the truth. I was a married woman. But I couldn't stop myself. I leaned in, closing the distance between us, and pressed my lips to his neck, feeling the heat of his skin against mine. The air between us seemed to crackle with electricity. "Get a room now," I whispered in his ear, my voice barely audible above the hum of the bar, yet heavy with all the unspoken desire that had been building between us for far too long. Daniel's breath caught in his throat, his eyes darkening with desire as he held my gaze. Without a word, he took my hand and led me out of the bar, his grip firm and possessive. The cool night air hit us as we stepped outside, but it did nothing to quell the heat building between us. We found a hotel just around the corner, our steps quick and urgent. The elevator ride was agonizingly slow, the tension between us thick enough to cut with a knife. I could feel his eyes on me, burning into my skin, but neither of us spoke. The doors finally slid open, and Daniel pulled me down the hallway, his hand still clasping mine tightly. When we reached the door to our room, he fumbled with the key card, his hands trembling slightly with anticipation. The door swung open, and we were inside before it even had a chance to close fully behind us. Daniel pressed me against the wall, his body firm and solid against mine. His lips found mine in a searing kiss, all hesitation gone as his hands roamed my body with a desperate hunger. I responded in kind, my fingers tangling in his hair, pulling him closer, needing to feel every inch of him. The taste of tequila lingered on his lips, a heady mix of passion and desire that made me dizzy with need. We tumbled onto the bed, our clothes discarded in a frenzied rush. His hands were everywhere, exploring, caressing, igniting every nerve ending. My breath hitched as he found the sensitive spots that made me gasp, his touch both gentle and demanding. We moved together in perfect rhythm, our bodies connecting in a way that felt both familiar and new. Every touch, every kiss was a silent promise, a confession of the feelings we had kept buried for far too long. The guilt was immediate, the weight that clung to me, but I pushed it aside, telling myself that I deserved this thrill, this attention. It wasn't just about Daniel, there were others too, colleagues, even old friends. Each encounter was a temporary escape from the life I had, a way to feel alive in a way I hadn't in years. But every time, the guilt grew stronger and the lies more difficult to maintain. Nathan started noticing the changes. He asked about my late night texts, my increasing work trips. I lied to him repeatedly. I told him it was just a busy time at work, that everything was fine. But deep down, I knew our marriage was hanging by a thread, one I was slowly unraveling with every deceit. Then came the night when everything fell apart. Nathan came home early from a work trip, and I didn't even know. I was in our bedroom, the place that had once been a sanctuary for our love, but now it was a place of betrayal. I was with Daniel, completely unaware that Nathan was about to walk in with our children. Daniel's fingers brushed against my skin, sending a wave of heat through my body that made my breath hitch. His touch was no longer tentative, it was confident, demanding as if he knew exactly how to awaken every part of me that had been dormant for so long. His hand slid down my arm, leaving a trail of tingling sensation in its wake before resting on my waist. He pulled me closer, our bodies pressed together, and I could feel the strength in his embrace, the passion that simmered just beneath the surface. I closed my eyes, surrendering to the flood of emotions, to the undeniable connection that surged between us, pushing aside the voice in my head that whispered of betrayal. Our lips met in a kiss that was as intense as it was inevitable. It wasn't gentle, it was hungry, desperate, a release of the pent-up longing that had been building between us for so long. My hands found their way to his chest, feeling the rapid beats of his heart beneath my fingertips, mirroring my own. The kiss deepened, our bodies moving in sync, driven by a mutual need that obliterated all thought of consequences. In that moment, nothing else existed, only the two of us, lost in a whirlwind of desire and passion that had been too powerful to deny. When I saw my husband standing there, the look of shock and hurt on his face, my heart shattered. The world seemed to stop. The guilt I had been suppressing came crashing down, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. Nathan didn't say anything. He just ushered the kids away, trying to protect them from the truth that had just exploded in front of them. That night, I waited, terrified for Nathan to confront me, but he didn't. The silence was worse than any words he could have said. I lay awake, knowing that our marriage, our life was over, and it was all because of me. A few days later, Nathan confronted me. He had hired a private investigator and he knew everything. Not just about Daniel, but about all the others. The hurt in his eyes, the anger in his voice, it was all too much. I tried to explain, to justify my actions, but every word felt hollow. I knew I had destroyed the trust that had once been the foundation of our relationship. As we went through the divorce, I saw the pain I had caused, not just to Nathan, but to our children. Lily and Lucas didn't understand why their world was changing, why their parents were no longer together. I watched as Nathan tried to hold everything together, becoming both mother and father, while I was left to grapple with the consequences of my actions. There were moments when I tried to reach out to Nathan to apologize, but I knew it was too late. The damage was done. I had lost the man who had once been my everything, and there was no going back. I was left to face the reality of my choices, to live with the regret that would never go away. Now, as I look back, I wish I could undo everything. I wish I had appreciated the life I had, the love that Nathan and I shared. But wishes don't change the past. All I can do is live with the consequences of my actions, knowing that I hurt the people I loved the most. And that's a burden I'll carry forever.